Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Polywine, where we like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from the media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. So, I'm coming to you from the mid Atlantic area, and today it's cool, it's rainy and wet, and it definitely has a fall like feel. And as we are experiencing changes in the weather here, well, let's work our way down to Florida. Yes, poor Florida. Well, they are bracing themselves for yet another major storm. Her tropical storm Helene is working its way through the Gulf, churning, gaining strength, gaining power, and it is expected to make landfall in the Panhandle area Thursday evening. And by that time, they are also predicting that it will be upgraded to a category 3. So when you have those fast churning and fast moving storms that gain power in a short amount of time, all I can think of is Hurricane Michael years ago that hit the Panhandle right around the Panama City Beach area. And it was just destructive and just so devastating. So our hearts are with you. Please, please, please be safe and please be prepared. We are thinking of you and our hearts go to you all. So Florida, please be careful. Now, let's move over to politics. There's a lot going on in politics. It's a little bit crazy. So, right now, there are 41 days, 41 days to the presidential election. So, do your research. Please check the facts and pick the candidate that works for you. For those who are not registered to vote, there's a little bit of time, depending on your states. Please go online and check it out. But if you haven't registered, register right away. And please do your research. Please do your facts. Pick the candidate that works best for you. Forget the parties. Forget the parties. Right now, the parties are a little bit toxic. So pick the candidate that works for you, that speaks to you, that hits all your points and your platforms, your concerns for you and your family. Pick that person. Whoever it may be, you pick that person. Forget the rhetoric, forget the hostility, and just do what's best for you. Okay? Every vote matters. Every vote counts. So please, please get out and vote. 41 days. There's not going to be another debate. So you're not going to hear them speak again in a debate stage, but they're definitely getting out, making the circuit on the campaign trail. Follow what you can, but get out and vote. Please, please, please. But speaking of the hostilities, it's getting out of control. It is getting out of control in the political atmosphere. Not only have we had recent assassination attempts, which is just, to me, unspeakable. I mean, it's just everywhere. I'm not too far from the DC area. It's just a heightened tension everywhere. It's very uncomfortable. It's very I feel anxious about it. There's just been so much happening in the last several years, and so many people are just fighting amongst each other, fighting amongst friends, coworkers. I don't like it. It's great to have a political debate. It's great for you to express your views, but the tension is getting a little amped up, and I don't like it. And speaking of that, I mean, the Harris campaign office in Tempe, Arizona, was shot at yesterday. Shot at. Now that's gone too far. It's going a little extreme. Now I don't know who remembers, but Arizona, very red state, but years ago, and I want to think it was like in the 2010s, Gabby Gifford was shot on a campaign outing in Arizona. Several people were killed, including a small young girl. She was just, I mean, poor Gaffy suffered extreme brain trauma from the shooting. But fortunately, she lived. Her husband, Mark Kelly, the astronaut, and I believe he's senator in Arizona. That was her husband. So haven't we learned from that? I mean, I understand you're passionate about politics. Great. We should all be, because it affects everyone. But this is extreme. This is extreme. Use words, not violence. Okay? That's where we are. 41 days. So that's going on right now, right? So please, let's be safe all. But now let's get into a little bit of the scandalous side. So did you hear about this RFK scandal? RFK. Oh my God, RFK. What an interesting, God, I don't know. I mean, what an interesting thing it is to watch him. His whole campaign was, I can't imagine those who worked on his campaign. I mean, wow, it was just constantly stamping out fires. But not, I mean, from the whale to the bears to the brainworm, and you name it, what other, odd statement that he would say off the cuff. Now we have a scandal with a woman. Now I'm going to have to look it up here. She worked for, let's see, her name is, she worked for the New York Times, I think it was. No, New York Magazine. Pardon me. She worked for New York Magazine, and her name was Olivia Nuzzi or Newsy, for however you say it. I'm not sure, but Nuzzi. And she was working on RFK's campaign, right? She was, one of the journalists covering his campaign, and evidently, she was sending him inappropriate texts and pictures, and RFK was bragging about it. And it got out, the word got out. She got busted, and I think she's now the magazine is doing their own internal investigation. And I want to say she's probably put on pause right now while the investigation is going on. But now, from what I have read, she has always been a very, successful and positively recognized journalist. But now all of this puts all of her other work into question. Was there a conflict of interest there as there was here as she was working the campaign? Was she crossing or blurring the lines in any of her other previous stories? So yet, another downfall of a campaign. I mean, unfortunate. And then, so not only do we have RFK, who is working for, he is what, I don't want to say, like, he's trying to get into a seat on the Trump team. Well, now let's move over to somebody else who's trying to work a little to snuggle up closely to Trump. And well, let's head down to North Carolina and the gubernatorial race there. And hello, Mark Roberts. Oh, Mark Roberts. No, Robertson. Excuse me. Mark Robinson. I don't know why I say Roberts. Pardon me. Mark Robinson. He is a gubernatorial candidate, and this is all alleged. He's denying it. He's denying it's him, but it has been allegedly uncovered that he was on a porn site and making some pretty scandalous statements, right? I mean, on a porn site. It's interesting to me that yet another North Carolina a politician is going down on yet another sex scandal. Does nobody remember John Edwards? Why am I confusing names today? My apology. John Edwards, and I would say it was like the early 2000s. Well, he was taken down in a sex scandal because he was having an affair with, I want to say she was a photographer, somebody who was working the campaign, a little close to the JFK scandal. Am I right? There's a little parallel there. But she was working on his campaign. And John Edwards had a wife who was battling cancer. And at that time, when his wife was battling cancer, he was working the campaign circuit. He got this woman pregnant. Yes, he got her pregnant. Yes, absolutely. And oh God, you can go back and look at that story. There's some raunchy details to that, very scandalous. But he was taken down in a scandal as well. So now going back to Mark Robinson. Wow, this is bad. If this is true, this is bad. And look, he's got quite a history of some interesting statements that he's said in the past and things that he's done. So this is all alleged. And from what I had read, that he has denied this. But until the proof comes out that this is true. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming down the pike on this story. But until it all comes out, it's it's interesting, and it's not looking good. And wow, I mean, the twist and turns that is coming out of the people that are closest to Trump, and he's really, I feel like poor Trump. I mean, like, he's really spiraling, in my opinion, lately. Some of the things that he's saying, the personal attacks that he's going after Harris, I can't process it. It infuriates me. It makes me upset as a woman. I cannot stand these personal attacks as a woman. I get offended by the shit that comes out of his mouth about her, Harris. I can't stand it. I can't. It just bothers me to every extreme. So I really hope that in the next couple of weeks, someone on his campaign says you need to tone it down. I know that they're probably already saying it, but I think at this point, it's just so hostile and so just disgusting that he's going after a woman this way. And let's not forget how he went after Clinton and some of the shit that he said about her, and just vile. But the disgusting shit that he's spewing about Harris and her lack of intelligence infuriates me. Absolutely infuriates me. And just what he's saying, just the way he views women, makes me sick. And I think he's actually starting to lose some of his female voters. And I hope he does. And what has happened to women's rights and how they are just being stripped away from us, I hope he is losing his female voters, because you did that, Trump. You and the rest of the Republican Party. And, I hope changes will come soon and women's rights will be restored, because as a woman and as a mother to a daughter, seeing the turmoil and just things that are happening to women, and their bodies. And I don't know if you happened to watch the Oprah interview with Harris last week, and the mother that spoke about her daughter who passed away, that had a miscarriage, and she could not get the medical needs provided by, to her by the state, because they had just, put into effect all those laws that stripped away female rights. And she ended up dying. She waited hours and hours and hours to get the care that she needed, and she ended up dying. This beautiful, young, let me stress, young woman was neglected and died in the hospital. And I'm telling you, I did not see many clear eyes in the room. I mean, everybody was just so, just crying and shedding tears over it. I definitely was. I had a lot of issues when I was pregnant. And fortunately, I was pregnant at the time where my rights were protected. And I want that for all women. I want that for my daughter, and I want that for everyone's daughter and for future women to come. And it has been such a slippery slope, and to see it just taken away like that, changes have to happen. So please, I'm going to say it again, get out and vote. Get out and vote. Women, get out and vote. Please, women and men. These things, these changes that have happened to women's rights affect you as well. They affect you as well. And so, do you want to see your loved ones, your sisters, your wives suffer like that in such a crucial time in your life, which is supposed to be such a joyous time in your life? And to have to deal with that. Pregnancy is not easy. It does not always go well. Some women have difficulty getting pregnant. A lot of women have difficulty, and a lot of women, once they get pregnant, have a lot of difficulty carrying. So please stand strong, stand united, women. Get out and vote and make these changes. Stop letting these men make laws for us. Can't have it anymore. So I try not to say on my show where I stand politically. I try not to, because I don't want to, sway anyone, because I want you to do your research and I want you to make your vote wholeheartedly. But I'm going to state here today that I am endorsing the Harris Walz ticket. I am a woman. I want these changes to be done. And I want to see a woman as president in my lifetime. I want to see that. Sorry, personal opinion. I think women kind of run things better. Myself, not always, but most of the time they do. And let me just tell you, she was an attorney. She was an attorney. She knows the law. She was in Congress. She knows, she has served her time. She's grown. She's evolved as she's in the political world. So give her a chance. Give her a chance. And when I hear her speak, when I hear her commercials, I get excited. I'm a little enthusiastic over, because I'm ready for a change. I am ready for a change, and I am ready for a woman. So let's go. Let's go. Now, let me just go to one other little more political story, and this is a happy note. So, was it yesterday, actually, there was an awesome statue dedicated in the Capitol building. Okay. So there was a Johnny Cash statue that was donated by his home state of Arkansas, and is the first statue of a musician in the Capitol. And if you have a chance, look at the pictures. It's a beautiful statue. The sculptor, the artist, just did a phenomenal job, and it's just really cool. So not only is it hot in the DC, there's also a ring of fire in the Capitol. So go, Johnny, go. Now, moving on, let's get into some entertainment and some pop culture. I mean, so evidently, I'm just going to briefly skip over to it because there's just so much and we can get into it. And every day there's a little bit more. So evidently, another accuser came out. So I think I was reading that's the 11th person now. So I don't know when his court case is happening. There's no bail. So he's going to be waiting in jail until that happens. So Diddy, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And I do not know who you have for your defense attorney, but I'm sure it's a legal team at this point. But it's looking bad. So, of course, he's denied everything. All these are allegations at this point for Diddy, but yeah, let's see how many more are going to come out before it goes to court. Wow, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. That's for sure. Now, let's move over to some television. Did you guys happen to watch Netflix? Did you see The Perfect Couple with Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber? Did you like it? So I thought it was okay. I was interested. It kind of kept me on the hook through the series. I'm going to say one thing. I think Nicole Kidman is a great actress. She's a versatile actress. She's done it all, and she's been around forever. She's, I would say, a pillar on the A-list of actresses. She really is. But in the last couple things I've watched of Nicole Kidman, I'm pretty much referring to this special, and then she had a Hulu special where she had like a resort, and she was a psychologist, and it was a great cast, and she was basically drugging them without their knowledge of like psilocybin or like mushrooms and other drugs and things like that. And she was drugging them as almost experimental to see if she can get these results and, further her career. And in that series, and in this one on Netflix, The Perfect Couple, Nicole, I love you and I think you are beautiful, but I can't stop staring at her. She's had a lot of work. Well, I'm just going to say it looks like a lot of fillers. I want to, she's had a lot of work done, but she's definitely had fillers because her face doesn't move and it's so full. It's, to me, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, I don't want to sound mean, but this is my opinion. She almost looks a little cat-like, and the fact that her face doesn't move, it's emotionless, is I can't stop staring at her. I cannot stop staring at her. And even though she's putting on an incredible performance, my focus is on her face. And I'm sorry, Nicole. I really like you, but personal opinion, maybe you got to tone it down a little bit. You know, actresses are supposed to show their expression on their face, not only like in their performance, but part of the performance is your facial expression. I need to believe, so I got to see a little bit of movement there. But going back, that was a little side note, but going back to the show, I thought it was okay, but the ending scene where she freaked out on the whole family and she's like, I'm an escort, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, when she said, I am sick of dealing with everyone's shit and I'm coming clean. To me, that was the highlight. Didn't see that twist coming. I really didn't. I did not see that twist coming. I was an escort. Your dad was my client and we kind of have an arrangement. And even though it upsets me that he's having all these affairs, that's my person. And I'm going to stand by his side and continue to pay his bills and his lifestyle. It was really interesting, the twists and turns that I did like that. I thought Liev Schreiber, awesome in it. He was great. He was a really good dirty guy. He was a good dirty guy. And here's the thing. He was really good, but he didn't go too dark. Like, I'm going to say it again. I'll say it again. Did you ever see the series Dirty John, where Eric Bana he was the actor who played Dirty John? And I love Eric Bana. Pardon me, I'm adjusting my microphone here a little bit. I love Eric Bana. I think he is just awesome. Good looking guy, solid actor. He was the Hulk, for God's sakes. He's just in a diverse, range of films and acting. And he's great, but he was so good in Dirty John. He was so good at hitting that dark area and just creepy and scary and ugh. And everything that a woman is in fear of. He played it so well that I have a hard time watching him in anything else. I mean, every time I see it, I think it could be a love story. It could be a movie about saving a baby animal. I don't know. I can't watch it. I can't watch it because he's just Dirty John. I don't want to cast type him, but he's just that good. And so maybe he just needs to stick with some darker roles now because he can go there. He can channel that. And I mean, I don't know if he actually got an award for it. If he didn't, he should have, but that he was so good. But Liev Schreiber, so, I'm just saying that Liev Schreiber was awesome. But he didn't go that dark. He was dark, but he didn't tip the scale all the way over like Eric Bana did. But he was good. And, I liked in the beginning where everybody was like, he's the perfect guy. Of course, when they're like, he's perfect. And the housewife is like, he's the best man. At first, I was like, oh, well, obviously, it's the housekeeper. The housekeeper is just like in love with that guy. Wasn't the housekeeper. The twists and turns, I liked that. I did like that a lot because usually I can guess the ending right away, and which bothers everybody else that I watch a show or movie or series with because they're like, okay, you've already figured out, you ruined it for us. Sorry. But I didn't on this one. I kept thinking, okay, it's this person. Okay, it's that one. Well, it wasn't. And like I said, at the end where she's like, F you all, I'm sick of you dealing with your shit. I'm not paying for your posh lifestyles anymore on the sweat of my back. No way. That was a great scene. And I think that meme should be the meme for everyone, for every mom on a rough, hard day. I'm tired of your shit. So, let me know what you think about it. I'm curious. So, let's get to another Netflix series. Did you see Monsters? The Kyle and Eric Menendez story? Did you see it? Because it's getting a lot of buzz. It's getting a lot of buzz. And although I think Ryan Murphy is just an incredible director, producer, he's great. He's done some of the best series on television. He just really can unveil a story and all the details that go along with it. And it's just, he pulls the curtain behind and it's great. I think he's a master. Not my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. And Javier Bardem. Last week when I talked about it, I was really excited to see it. And I was excited to see Javier Bardem. And I know I'm going to mess up her last name, Chloe Sevigny. Sevigny. I don't know how you say her last name. It's a little fancy. But she was great. She's such a good actress. I really like her a lot. And the way she can channel manipulation and I don't know anything about it. And just she was great. She was so good in this role. But Javier Bardem, I love him. I do. I love him. Penelope Cruz, I believe that's who Penelope Cruz is married to. Wow. I mean, if that isn't a powerhouse acting couple, Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz, and plus, what a gorgeous couple too. But we've seen him in a lot of movies, and some of them he can play a dark role well. Like I was just talking about Eric Mana, Javier Bardem, he can do it. He can do it like no other. And whoa, he did a fantastic job of playing all the personalities of Jose Menendez, right? So it is from the perspective of Eric and Lyle Menendez. And a couple of the episodes, I was like, why are they shirtless in every episode? Those guys who played the brothers, they did a great job too. I'm not familiar. They're not familiar with some of their other work. I really have to go back and look at some of it, but they did a great job. And if you don't know their names now, you will in no time at all, because they've definitely made a name for themselves in this series. And it was twisted. Like I said, you heard their stories. You saw the very descriptive scene with the parents, the murder of the parents. I mean, that they did not leave out any details there. The court scene was good. The actress who played the defense attorney, Abrams, nailed it. She nailed the look. She nailed the accent. She nailed it. She was amazing. She was fantastic. So you see their perspective through pretty much most of the series, and then to their court case, and then how of the mistrial, and then leaning towards when they go for the second case, then you see a completely different side and a different argument from the state, and that was great. That was great. I don't know. I mean, for those who were not around during the Menendez trial, please go back, look at some of the videos, look at some of the footage of it. So I remember this because I was relatively younger at the time, but I remember the Menendez trials because it was right before the OJ trial and the whole OJ incident and the Michael Jackson. But it was one of the first cases where I saw cameras in the courtroom, and even at a young age, I was glued to it. I guess that's probably where I got my court TV fix when I was younger. Like I really did. That's probably where I got addicted to it, and the crime shows and, the crime genre. But it was just for me, it was something completely new. And to hear their version of the story, their testimony of what happened, their experience, it was crazy. It was heartbreaking to hear their stories of that type of abuse. It was heart-wrenching. I mean, I remember the boys being up on the stand, testifying, and it was shocking. It was shocking, and my young ears had not really heard that before. And it really, it opened my world to a lot of greater things that could happen. And I don't mean greater in a good way. I mean in a terrible way. That type of abuse, that type of stories, it was just new to me. And it was heartbreaking to hear anyone have to experience such, I mean, it sounded like hell. It sounded like hell. And I'm saying their version, their testimony, because the parents were never convicted of any crime. And so that was their story. The parents were murdered. They were not able to defend themselves. And there was no charges ever brought against the parents of abuse. Now, with that being said, a while back, Netflix again I'm pretty sure it was Netflix. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was Netflix, had a docuseries that was called Menendez versus Menudo. And some of the singers that were in the young band Menudo had accused Jose Menendez of molesting him as well. So that has come out in the last several years. And I'm just kind of going to paraphrase this a little bit. So now that the Menendez are trying to shoot for another trial, right? And they've already served over 30 years in prison. So if a trial happens, I'm sure a lot of the stuff with this Menendez Menudo trial it's going to come into the court. So if this new court case happens and that is brought in, I mean, wow, that could totally overturn their ruling. It could become from that to manslaughter. I don't know. I don't know where it could go, but they've already served over 30 years. And if their charges are dropped to a lesser charge, they could be released for already time served. So I don't know where that could go. Anything could happen. We don't know, but I do know that they have been trying to get another court date, and let's see where that goes. But watch the docuseries. Tell me what you think. For those who did not see the original Menendez trial, go back, see some clips, read a little bit about it, because it could possibly come up again. And all that happened that years ago is going to come right back to the main front. So, but also, not only with that, with coming out with the documentary, it has come out that I think it was Eric Menendez, and made a statement that he was unhappy with how they were portrayed. And then suddenly I think Kim Kardashian met with them or spoke with them. Somehow she spoke with them. I don't know if she met him, but she was speaking with them. So, I mean, it's out there. It's gaining a lot of interest right now with this docuseries coming out. But it was interesting. It was really interesting to see it all again. Like I said, I found the court case interesting when it happened in real life, in real time. But I forgot so much about it. But going back and seeing it in this documentary, it brought up a lot that had been forgotten. And it also brought up so much that was happening at that time. Like I said, it was the OJ, and then you had all the Michael Jackson stuff come out. I mean, the LA court system at that time was just booming with celebrity cases, all terrible cases, all awful cases, but I mean, it was a lot going on. You had the LA riots at that time. The late 90s, turbulent times. Going back and look, I mean, you remember the highlights, but when you see it in like in that timeline when they discuss it in the series, like, oh my God, that's right. That's right. And I don't know, but I liked it. I enjoyed watching it, and I hope you have a chance to watch it too. It is a little nugget of history. Again, it's from the perspective of the Menendez brothers. That is where it says, the Kyle and Eric story. Oh, excuse me, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. So that's their version. It was good. It was good. I liked it. Now, let's get over to a little bit of Bravo. Wow. So we had the Dubai reunion, the Real Housewives of Dubai. Well, is it coming back? I like Dubai, actually. I do. I like Dubai. But when's the last time that we saw a two-part reunion? When? It's been a while. It's been a while. Like, I want to say it's probably like the first couple seasons of the show was the last time that I can really remember a two-part reunion. Nothing happened in it at all, in my opinion. And in my opinion, I think that Andy was just trying to get through it as fast as possible. And he looks a little burnout on the reunions. In my opinion, he's just moving along. I am sick to death of the Ion and the Lisa story. I'm over it. That story has been beaten to death. Move on. You don't want to be friends? Don't be friends, which is unfortunate because they were such good friends. And I think they were cute as friends. And you could tell that they really cared for each other. So it's always sad to see a friendship dissolve that way. But Carolyn Brooks. Yeah. You did not have a great season. You kind of had a few sparkling moments at the end when you kind of turned around some of your decisions. But I mean, it was not a good season for you. It was not a good look for you. You looked bitter and pissed the entire season, and you looked really pissed during the reunion. And you really said some really distasteful things throughout the season, but definitely in the reunion when she said, who was speaking, and she said, "I'm falling asleep." Oh, it was Carolyn Stanberry. When she said, I'm falling asleep. Rude. So rude. And I liked Carolyn as friends. So to see that just go to crap is unfortunate as well. I just don't know. Is it coming back? I don't think they had the best numbers. Again, I liked it, but let's see where it goes. But the reunion, boring. Very, very, very boring. But let's go to what wasn't boring. Let's go to the drop of the first episode of the newest season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Whoa, get right into it. Start off, boom, party right away. Another outdoor snow-capped party. Kind of like it. And beautiful, beautiful decor and decorations. Lisa, I loved it. Baby gorgeous. It was beautiful. The party that she had in that kind of rustic barn-like atmosphere. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. But that beauty quickly turned because catfight went right away. Everybody went after Ashley. Everybody. It was great. It was absolutely great. You had Lisa, you had Heather, you had Meredith. Poor, oh my God. Why, the new girl, the Greek girl. I love her. Angie K. I really like Angie. I think she's a little bit of a hot mess. But first of all, your hair looked beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous in your cameos, in your interviews this week. You look beautiful. Angie brought it. She brought her scroll of grievances when she whipped that thing out and, just started Going into it, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Some people thought it was dramatic. Bring it. And did it match her dress, by the way? I loved it. And how interesting that Angie K and Mary Cosby are friends now. Seeing them drive to the party with like their matching shades and their matching purses I found that to be so hilarious and kind of adorable. And, when they were showing clips of now, when did you and Angie become close? And they flash back to their reunion where Angie turned to Mary and she's like, you got lipstick on your teeth. And Mary was like, oh, thanks. And you see her clean it off. And Andy then turns to Mary and says, who do you like in this group? She's like, I like Angie, because she just told her she had stuff on her teeth. Now, let's not forget how rude and dismissive that she was to Angie in Palm Springs, the season before. So to go from one end of the spectrum to the next is just fascinating to me. And just like I said, seeing with their bags and their glasses, and they got each other's back and their fashion. I want to see where this goes. Will it stay? Will it stick? Will they end up friends at the end of the season? I want to know. Heather, already irritated with you. Heather, I really liked you the first season, maybe season 2, but your fame has gone to your head. I find you obnoxious and really annoying now. So you look great. You look great. I'm glad you had your glow up. She showed up in her kind of latexy heart dress, which is super cute. Like that. The new girl. Let's get to the new girl. Wow. She's going to be fun. She loves her designs. She loves her fashion. I'm here for it. So enjoying the new cast. I like the friends of, I hope the friends they brought to the party will be the friends of throughout this season. I thought they were entertaining. Was it Brandy? Brittany, the one that Heather liked? I like her. I'm here for it. And like I said, the first episode, boom, everyone went right after Ashley, and they were calling her out on all of her bullshit over the years. And although I do like her, I find her annoying too. So congratulations on the new house. Your house looks beautiful. It looks just like your old house. Am I wrong? It looks just like your old house. Yeah, it does. It looks just like our old house. Looks the same, but beautiful. Congratulations for that. Why does Meredith Marks rent a new place every year? What's up with the renting? Anybody? Anybody know? Why? I mean, all the homes are beautiful. I don't know why you want to move that much. That's a lot of moving. That's a lot of work. So, I don't know. Meredith is another one that annoys me. I will not engage. I cannot take this anymore. Like, she's having a breakdown every episode. And I don't know. She needs somebody give her something to calm her nerves. Give her an edible, give her a cocktail or something. We all remember when, let me tell you about our marriage last season at the dinner party. And although it was messy, we all kind of like that Meredith a little bit. And Lisa always brings the high strung and the baby gorgeous. And I love that. And I love that too. So bring it, Lisa. I like you too. So far, first episode of the new season, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Mama likes. I like it. So, I'll be here to watch you for the season. I hope this reunion is better. And Heather, you got to give me something more, because you lied to your teeth about the black eye situation last year with Jen Shaw. And the weird thing that you had her back the whole time when it was very clearly she was going to jail and she was lying. wasn't a good look for you and you got busted big time. So I think you turned a lot of people last season. So far, episode 1, not working for you. You better turn it around, girl. You better turn around. Now, The Real Housewives of Orange County. Only a few episodes in. Well, several episodes in, I should say. Heather is spiraling about the fashion show last week. And Heather, I'm going to say it. Excuse me. Not Heather. Emily. My apologies. Emily is spiraling about her fashion show that Heather put on when they were in Sonoma. Pardon me, I'm getting a little tongue-tied today. Maybe it's the rain. I don't know. But Emily is definitely having some insecurities with her weight. And I can understand. I think anyone can understand that. But you're putting too much on everybody. And I think it's just getting uncomfortable. And I'm going to remind you, you're beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful. And even though you have said that you've had a little bit of work done, especially with your glow up lately, you've had a little bit of liposuction in your arms and you're at the gym all the time. I've always think, no matter when you were 40 pounds heavier or today, I thought you were gorgeous then. I think you're gorgeous now. I'm glad you are healthier and doing better, but she's still struggling with the images of herself, to herself. The fashions were okay at the fashion show, pretty basic, but they all look beautiful. But I still think Heather looked the prettiest. I know she had an issue with the jeans. She was concerned that she had to bring some of her own clothing because she was concerned that the designer didn't have a size, she said, 12. And I don't care if you're a size 12, a size 6, a size 2. You looked beautiful. You absolutely beautiful. And I still think that you were probably one of the best that walked down the runway. I totally empathize with what you're going through. I do. I really, really do. And I think pretty much most anyone can. Other than Heather Dubrow, she's so tiny. And she's always looked like she's been that tiny. She's so tiny. So I could, I think Heather is definitely trying to understand and meet her halfway a little bit. And I think she's definitely given her grace. Now, when Emily was explaining her feelings to Heather shut that shit down right away. She was like, nope, let me tell you, in her own words. I don't think that was the best look because she's pouring her heart out on her insecurities to you. And I think you needed to kind of come back with that, with some compassion for the poor girl, because we all know Emily can get sensitive and she can go in any direction. So let's kind of go back in time and remember when she freaked out on, oh my God, who was, oh my God, why am I drawing the blank? Kelly Dodd. Remember when she freaked out on Kelly Dodd when Kelly Dodd said that her husband, Shane, was a dork? Epic, because we were like, okay, she's a spitfire. And then we've seen her freak out in a couple other ways. And so we know she can be a little hot-tempered. And we all like that about Emily. But you got to come back with that with a little bit of ease, Heather. You know how she can get. And maybe you didn't in that moment, but I'm liking Heather this season. I am. I don't know what's going on, but I'm liking Heather this season. Gina, not your best season. I do kind of like Katie. I kind of like the new girl. I think she came in to stir up some shit. I don't think it worked out well for her. Apologize and move on. Stop blaming. Stop taking no accountability. You're not taking any accountability for your end of this. They're gonna get gotcha Heather kind of moment. But I do like her. I think she's nice to have a fresh face in the mix of the group. Nah, Tamra. Tamra. Tamra, on the other hand, I am not liking you this season at all. You're not a girl's girl. Um, I think I don't like what you're bringing to the show at all. I think you're bringing hostility. I think you're bringing anger. I don't like it. I don't like it. I've said it before. I say it again. You are definitely the downfall. If this season doesn't go well, I think you're the downfall of it. I think you're seeing now that it's not coming across well to the public, to the audience. And I think you're trying to backpedal a little bit and trying to course correct, you know, what you're doing so you don't come out as the villain this season. I think it's a little too late. I think it's a little too late. We've all known that you kind of are this way from previous seasons, but you are definitely looking like the villain this season. Stop coming after Shannon. That girl is broken right now. She needs a friend. She needs a sister. She needs a shoulder. She's going through some shit. She is going through it. Look, Shannon is always going through something. Drama, stress, and a little bit of chaos tends to follow her everywhere. Shannon's a blah all over the place. She is high strung. She is like a frazzled wire. But that is kind of what we like about Shannon. I think everybody can relate to her because a lot of people have gone through these experiences with their divorce with that dick ex dated. With her trying to rebuild her life post-divorce, with her trying to reestablish herself at the point of her life and a new career, just kind of finding her way in a different part of her life. I think everyone can relate, and that's why we were so behind Shannon to cheer her on. Now, we can also understand on some degree, how she can spiral when times get tough. We've all seen it happen. It has happened to some of us. But there's someone in our life where we've seen when tough time hits them, they can spiral. And Shannon is that girl, and that is what is happening now. We've seen it happen before in the past, and it's definitely happening now. Understandably so, dealing with all the legal stuff from her DUI. And now the whole legal situation with John Jansen and Alexis just throwing gasoline on that fire. I don't like Alexis. I think she's got to go. I thought it was Tamra that brought Alexis on, but what I have heard on the internet that is actually kind of Heather that really was like spearheading bringing Alexis back on. Is that true? I don't know. That's rumors from what I understand. But whoever wanted to bring her back, I think it was dirty. It's not a good look. And I think she's flopping epically this season. So Alexis has got to go and Tamara's got to go. Sorry, Tama. They called you back. You know, you were put on pause, whatever you're going to call it. Let's be honest. You weren't asked to come back for a couple seasons. They did ask for you to come back. I think that was the wrong choice. It should have been Vicky. It should have been Vicky. And I'm glad that she's back as just a friend of, but I want more Vicky. The OG of the OC. Now, Vicky, she's a live wire as well. She's also that frazzled live wire. And I like seeing her and Shannon come together as they should. And she's got that girl's back because Vicky's gone through some shit too. And let's not forget how Tamara was to Vicky with all that Brooks scandal and shit broke out back in the day. And Brooks was disgusting. He was a liar and he was a manipulator and a user. He totally used Vicky. And I think of her old husband. God, what was his name? Dan? What was her ex-husband's name? he seems like a nice guy. And I do miss Brianna. I miss Brianna, the voice of reason. She was great. I miss Vicky. I love you, Vicky. And Vicky, if you want to come onto Polywine, I will have you at any time. I love me some Vicky. I love me some Shannon. I love them together. And Hot Mess, yes, absolutely. But I want more. I want more. Although I would not pay to see their show. It looks like that's a hodgepodge of poor planning. I don't know what else to say. It looks like a mess. It looks like a mess. I wouldn't watch the show. Some of the feedback on the internet hasn't been the most positive. There's been some, and your fans that love you or ride or die for you, they've had shining reviews, but I want more Vicky. I want more Shannon, but please bring Vicky back. I know she got a little strong-headed. I know she got her ego became blown up out of proportion when she was on the show, and I'm pretty sure that's probably some of the reasons why she was her contract was not renewed, because I heard she became quite beastly with her personality behind the scenes. Those were the rumors that were swirling around at the time. I don't know, but bring her back. The show needs her. The show wants her. The show needs her. I love having her back. It's just not enough. And I don't want to see their show on the road. I don't want to see the Shannon and Vicky show. I just want to see Shannon and Vicky doing what they do best, whooping it up, having fun. Maybe Shannon should have some mocktails right now while she's dealing with this stuff. I miss them. They need to have, they're fun, they're hilarious, and they bring a great light to the show. Now, as we're coming to an end of the Bravo series here, let's get a little into Below Deck Med. Now, I haven't glossed over a lot this season. I did not personally, this was not my favorite season at all. I love Aisha. I do. I love how just totally open and raw she is in front of the camera. She says it all. It looks like she is 100% herself on camera. She doesn't hide anything from the camera, and that's what we all love about her. She is herself. And I think she's beautiful, and she looks like a freaking hard worker. And this season, this girl, oh my God, she really got into it, with her stews. And let's just put it nicely. This is as nicely as I can put it. They were incompetent. She had two of the most incompetent stews that were just butting heads the whole time over Joe. And then Joe, cute, but not worth all the fuss that they gave you. You are not worth that. And just know, future women that encounter Joe, what you see on the show, if he's willing to put that out to the world, what is he doing in day-to-day life when it comes to girls, to women, or his dating scene, or whatever his dating scene is? If he's doing that to the girls on television, what is he doing out in the real world? Right? So I'm over you, Joe. Gail, you're cute. And her boyfriend. Yeah, I'm glad the season's over. I didn't find it interesting. Ian was barely in this season. Although there was a few times he got in trouble, and you would just see him like on deck. So I guess they didn't have a lot of footage to show of him. They didn't show much, but I just feel like he kind of gave everybody the creeps. Like what was it in the season? This past episode, he was playing with like Ellie's hair in the van when they were going out, and she was like, "Oh, gross." So Ellie drove me crazy. Bree drove me crazy. I just didn't find him enough this season. However, I have to say, let me just give a little shout out to Jonathan, to Jono, as he called himself, or Jono. I was nervous in the beginning of the season with him. You know how we talked about it, the very first was the first episode or second episode where they woke him up where Ellie woke him up in the middle of the night to make food for the guests. And he said no. I did not agree with that. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to go well. You're going to get fired. Well, Captain Sandy did try to fire him more than once for some errors that he made in the kitchen. But she couldn't find a replacement chef, so she was stuck with him. But he did redeem himself through the season. And I really kind of liked his personality. And I think he would be so much fun to kind of hang out with. He just looks like so much fun. But he also became a voice of reason to the girls. And I liked it when he was having like the heart-to-heart with Bree. And I didn't see a lot of heart-to-heart with Ellie, but maybe he had him behind the scenes. But in how he was with Aisha, and just how he was with the stew with his girls. I liked him. He was a great part of that team. I think he was so much fun, but so much wisdom he gave to them, and he was just very calm. And I don't know if you should ever twerk in the kitchen because it's just too many hot things in there and too many sharp items, but I like that he was dancing. He kept it fun. He kept it, spicy. And I liked him coming out of his shell this last episode with the charter guests that were on there. And Aisha's had them before. She had them in Australia. They looked like a lot of fun. I love the toga party. It was great. I liked that Aisha gave shit to Ellie this season because I agree with you. She totally overstepped her position. I thought she was just very passive aggressive, very manipulative. Agreed with you on that one. Personally, I don't know if she'll get another season. I didn't find her great television. But I really like Jono. I like Jono. I like Aisha. And so let's get to Captain Sandy. At the closing of this episode, you saw Captain Sandy propose to her girlfriend, Leah, her partner, Leah. Very sweet, beautiful, beautiful engagement. And like Sandy says, because there was a hiccup with the boat, they were running late for the proposal. She wanted to have it at sunset. And the sun was going down. They barely made sunset. And she's like, when I got there, I didn't expect like the violins and everything to be playing, but sometimes things just don't always happen the way you envision it, which is true. You have these things in your head, and sometimes it doesn't always go 100% the way you envision it or think or prepare for, but it was absolutely gorgeous. That beautiful ocean view, where they were in like that little inlet, kind of like a little cove, how they had that table with the champagne flowers, the violin, sunset, absolutely gorgeous. It was a beautiful moment. Well done, Aisha. It was nice the crew were able to see it. They were hiding in the distance, and it was nice that they were able to be a part of that special moment. Just beautiful, memorable, and congratulations. But at the very end, oh my gosh, pardon me, I'm bumping into my microphone there. But at the very end of the episode, they flash forward 8 months later, and you see Sandy and Leah getting married. And beautiful, beautiful ceremony. Of course, they had it on a boat, on a yacht. I'm so happy that Aisha was there to join them, as she should have been. And Kate Chastain was there. I love me some Kate. I love Kate. The reason I like Below Deck Med was because of Kate. I'm telling you, I have so many similarities with Kate Chastain in the service industry. I can't even tell you. I'm polite. I'm a hard worker. but I didn't put up with anybody's crap either, like she did. And I love Kate. I think she's super witty. I think she's really funny. I love her sarcasm. I think she's great. I miss you. I miss you in Below Deck. I understand why you're no longer there. We all have a breaking point in the hospitality industry, for sure. And she has a beautiful little boy, a baby boy. I guess he's not a baby anymore, but young little toddler. And so she's enjoying a great life. But I am so happy to still see her on Bravo. I'm glad she's still at the BravoCon. I love Kate, and Bravo. Don't get rid of Kate. She's great. I think Kate should really kind of have her own show. I really do. It's always nice to see her on the after shows, and when her and Captain Lee did that spinoff show, I like that too. Kate, you're great. So was so happy to see you. But the wedding with Captain Sandy and her partner Leah was beautiful. It was sweet. It was definitely a tearjerker. And congratulations, Sandy. She's like, I thought I'd never do it, but when you find the love of your life, as you should, get married, do it, take the plunge, and give it a go. And she did. So congratulations. Absolutely gorgeous ceremony, and the best wishes to you. Happily ever after for the new couple. So thank you so much today. That's a wrap. We'll have a lot more stories to get into. I'm so happy to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us on Polywine today. Please go over to the gram if you have any comments, questions, anything you want me to look at, look into, talk about. Find me on Polywine Time on the gram, and please catch Polywine wherever you get your feed. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.